Market update here on the 24th. So this will be an important video because most people are thinking we're gonna bounce here soon. Are we gonna bounce? We'll find out in the video. But it's very important because when you're getting moved down like this, people do stupid stuff. And the main reason that they do stupid stuff is because they don't know what's going on. If you don't know where you're at in the chart, you'll do stupid stuff. If you look at it logically and you know where you're at in the chart, then you can just sell or buy based on where the chart goes. You don't have to worry about being emotional about it. You know how much money you're probably going to lose if you're wrong, and you know how much money you're going to make if you're right. So this is pretty important because the market is selling off hard, and I'm still over in Asia, and this is kind of annoying to me right here. I was pretty tired on Friday. We saw this move right here, and that was at 45 minutes before the close. And what did I do? I decided to go to sleep. I thought this invalidated the whole move, and then I woke up and we were way down here. So I think that this market has more downside short term, and it is going to surprise some people, and then people that are shorting right now are going to make a bunch of money. So let's go over the chart here on QQQ. So this gets very in depth. Of course, we have 1, 2, and then an obvious wave 3 now. Definitely an obvious wave 3 with tons of extensions. So if I zoom in here on the 15-minute chart, I can kind of go over the extensions, but it gets really in depth. So it's like 1, 2, and then the third wave's right here, fourth wave's here, and then we start doing the extensions. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, actually, this should be the third wave right here. Even the labeling gets kind of annoying. If this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think that I just confused myself. Third wave's here, fourth wave's here, and then this is an extension of the fifth wave. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it should be a third right here, third wave right here. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me zoom in a little bit farther. Yeah, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So third wave ends right here, and then we get this move right here, which could have acted as a bottom. I mean, when you're looking at it just on a normal chart, you're like, it's a pretty big move higher. That was on Friday morning. Nice move higher, but that ended up just being the fourth wave. So that's actually the fourth wave. And then we get this move down here, which I personally, I don't know why. I think I was just really tired. It's pretty obvious it's a 5-wave move. So that's got to be wave 1. And then we got this move right here that shot up. I think I was looking for a fourth wave, and it shot up, and I was thinking it invalidated. But you can see here, this is a fourth wave. So this is 5 waves, and we get this move that goes back to the 0.61 fib, basically. So that means we're in the third wave here. So where is a third wave going to go? It should go to the 1.61 fib. That's sitting at 355.55. So there's a very, very good chance that we get a gap down on Monday. So 355.55. So that's a potential what did we finish at? 91. We got a potential 0.7% down starting Monday morning, but I think it's just going to end up being something like this. And then let's say we bounce to 356.76. You're probably looking at something down here to like 353. So I would expect 353 early in the week. And then let's zoom out here. So 353 earlier in the week, and what is that? It's basically a double bottom with this move right here. And so a lot of people are going to say, oh, we double bottomed here. That's got to be the bottom. But this is likely going to be wave 3 right here, probably double bottom, maybe a little bit lower. And is there a gap there? There is no gap. So wave 3 there at 353. Let's just see where we bounce to. Probably just going to get a bounce back up to 359. And then I would suspect that we get a move. And look at that. That's kind of crazy. 347 would be my target. Just based on where how long wave 1 was. And what's interesting about that is if you draw a parallel line here, you'll see, I already have it drawn, I guess. You'll see that it hits basically the bottom of the parallel line. So I would suspect that this is potentially the bottom right here, but you don't know yet either because we still have that gap fill at 332. It's also possible that we get and then come down farther. It's possible. So that kind of lays out what I expect over the next probably week or two. This took about 8 days, so we're probably going to go lower, I would say, over the next day. So maybe Monday we bottom, bounce back up to high 350s, and then go lower to 347. But it's also possible that the fifth wave ends up being an extension just like all the rest of it has been. So we could get something like this too, where this bounces, then we get an extension all the way down here to 332, which is the 1.61 fib of the A wave. If that happens, I would say that's the bottom. If it comes down to 347 and bounces, you would want to see an impulse move off the bottom. If it's a corrective move, you can see another move lower here to 332. So where's this gap? This gap's at 364. I don't think that it's likely we'll hit this gap on a bounce. So if we go to 353, we're probably not going to come up here anymore. So that's going to happen probably on the fifth wave. So again, if you haven't watched my videos before, this is what I consider fourth wave. If it comes all the way down here, it still hasn't crossed into the first wave. And then I think we're going to get another move higher. Probably going to be in like maybe start in November or so. Probably have another month of this. So that is QQQ broken down pretty good all the way down to 353 this week is my target. It's about finished. And I don't see any. Looking for some kind of demand zone, but I don't really see any that are good. Maybe on like the 2 hour or 3 hour. There's one right there at right around kind of the target I was talking about. So 352, 353, something like that. So I think we're going to barely go below the A wave for this wave 3 and then bounce. And then if we're lucky, it bounces all the way up here to 364. But it's probably going to hit high 350s. So anyway, enough about QQQ. Tesla now, again, doesn't look good at all. and I think that we're starting the C wave. The original plan that I had and then the alternate count is invalidated at this point. We broke through that demand zone right here that ended at 246.59. We finished below it. And so this is definitely invalidated, and we've definitely started at a minimum a C wave. Probably not a 5-wave move. It's probably going to end up being a C wave. But now that we know we've started it, the most likely landing spot for Tesla is going to be at, I think, 192. I would say 192 would be a good landing spot, but probably down here to 180 to 186. So you're probably looking at something in early November bottom. And currently, this is only wave 1 down. So we are making a wave 1 down of the C wave. Have it labeled here. And we are currently in the 5th wave of the first wave. So we have third wave here, a second wave here, and we have third wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fourth wave, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting the 5th wave of the 5th wave, I am looking. No, this is the 5th wave of the. Hold on. Sometimes I get confused with these. This is the 3rd wave right here. Hold on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm sorry. This is the 1st wave overall. I'm confusing myself here. So we have. This is the 1st wave overall. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in the 5th wave of the overall 1st wave. Sorry about that. All these extensions and all of these moves can get confusing sometimes. So 3rd wave ended right here. And we got the 4th wave right here. And then we are in the 5th wave of the overall 1st wave. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I think is going to happen is what do I think is going to happen? I'm looking at this again, 3, 4. We have one more move down here to 238. That is a demand zone. And that's going to be the overall 3rd wave. So it's going to look like this. Bounce maybe up here to high 240s. And we're probably going to see something down here to around, my target's like 228. Although there is no demand zone there that I can see. Let's look at the weekly and just see if there's any moving averages there. Okay, 50 is way below. No moving averages there. Anyway, 228 is basically my target for wave 1. So this will just be wave 1. And then we should bounce for wave 2. I'll be looking for potentially a bounce up here to 260. We'll see though. That's gonna be a pretty big bounce. That'll be a little bit over a 10% bounce. And then wave 3 should take us down to $198 bounce, and then the target is like 180 to 186. So there's a possibility that this does not happen though, and it's really hard to say because we could get a second wave back up here to 260. That's probably around where the 20-day moving average is, so 257. So it's possible we probably hit that actually. Now I'm thinking about it. So wave 1 ends here. We'll probably hit somewhere around the mid 250s. Yeah, I would say the 20-day moving average would probably be the target. So this gap fill probably won't hit unless we go buy it and then we fall back below, because we're probably not going to get above the 20-day moving average anytime soon. So basically 228 bounce to the 50-day or the 20-day moving average on the daily. And then you're looking at a wave 3 to 198 bounce, and then probably down here to 180 to 186. Currently, one thing that's giving support is it is still above the weekly 20-day moving average. But I would suspect that unless we're lucky and it finishes this 5 waves down here and then bounces back above 240 here early in the week, maybe that's probably maybe that's gonna happen, to be honest, because it wouldn't make sense to finish below the weekly 20 and then bounce back above it. So that is a layout on Tesla. Looking at the overall chart, you could see something to a max. Just to let you know, the max this could go all the way down to 159. So just to lay that out there and say that my target is 180 to 186, but if it gets really out of hand, you could see something down here to this demand zone, potentially 158. And if we zoom out on this whole chart, it's pretty obvious. Well, it's not obvious yet, but it's getting more obvious that this is probably a B. We're probably going to see a C wave up here eventually, or it is a nested move again still, which I actually favored before. Still very possible, where this is wave 1 of 3 and we're getting wave 2. So we'll see which one happens, but basically the layout is early in the week 238, bounce to 247, down to 228, bounce to probably 257, then down to 198, bounce down to 180 to 186. There's Tesla for you. Microsoft, I think Microsoft might have already bottomed on this move down. It went from 240 all the way down here to 315 in a week. So it was down basically 10%. And then we got this impulse move right here. So I think this is probably wave 3 right here, ending 4th wave and a 5th wave right here. So I'm labeling this wave 1. But I do think there's a very good possibility that this does an expanded flat. So we got an impulse move right here. This is definitely A. So if I'm watching Microsoft, I could see this. I could see this pulling back to 312.64 potentially, considering the market will be down on Monday. So if it does that, you'd still be in a demand zone, and this would probably just end up being an expanded flat. So it would be probably still going to get something like that. So I think Microsoft is done with wave 1, and if it does that, we're looking for a pullback or a retracement to at least 328. And let's just see, if it went to 312, the 1.61 fib, well, the 1.23 would be at 328, the 1.61 fib is at 333. So I'd be looking for 328 to 333 after potentially a lower low on Monday if the market goes down. But maybe it will hold this too. You don't know yet. All I know is this is impulsive, this is corrective, so we should get another move higher here soon. And that kind of lines up with QQQ. If it goes down to 353, we bounce to 360. Microsoft should be one of the ones that bounces pretty good. NVDA, I think that this now, just looking at the chart more, is in a wave 4 still. And I have this as wave A now. This is probably wave B. And then we're getting 5 waves. On this 5-wave move, zoom in here a little bit. we're in basically wave 5 of overall wave 3. So looking for this to go down to 395 basically. We're at 416 right now. That's what it looks like to me. I'm just trying to, it's kind of a far drop though. 416 to 395. I guess it's only 5% more. But 395 is a gap fill. That's why I said that. I would be looking for this to be 5 waves. So you're looking at a move that I'm trying to decide if I'm right or wrong on this right now. Let's just go over the waves real quick. So we have 1, 2. Kind of go over this anyway. You guys can see how I do this. 1, 2. Then we have 1, 2 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4. And then here comes the extension 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so a 5th wave should happen. Maybe it doesn't go all the way down to 395 though. That's just kind of the gap fill. Maybe it only goes down to, just looking at that, it might only go down to like low 400s, maybe 405 or so. But the overall target for me is down here at 380. But let's just see if this goes down to like 405. Bounces to 426. And then let's just take wave 1. And you can see that would take us down to 380. That's my target, is 380. And that would hold this right here. I'm not sure. Let's look at the moving averages real quick. Definitely below the daily. Weekly, though, I'm sure we're probably above that. Gotta be, right? Whoa, this is below the weekly? Or is it? 416. This finished just below the weekly. So the 50-day is at 316. I don't think it's going to get down there. It's possible, but I still see this as a C wave here. So we got A, B. The farthest it goes is 342, but I think the 1.23 fib is a better spot. So we fill this gap in 380, and then that would be the 4th wave. So you can see here that I recently considered this being the 5th wave, and it's still possible. If that's the 5th wave right there, then that means we're starting a 5-wave move lower. And then if that's the case, then that means this whole move is done. And that would mean we're starting a wave 2 down. So again, it's one of those things where you can look at the chart, or the projections in the long term. There's a lot of different possibilities. Short term though, basically just look for like the low 400s, bounce, and then another move down, probably going to like 380. And then that should be wave 3. Or no, wave C, in my opinion. If it's wave 1, so if this is wave 1, then you're still going to get a bounce all the way back up here to 442. You're probably going to fill this gap at 469. So right now it doesn't really matter. Is it wave C? Is it wave 1? Figure that out later, depending on what happens. But because if it's wave C, then you're going to get an impulse move off here to new highs. If it's wave 1, you're going to get a corrective move. So shop. Request on shop, and shop's pretty simple from what I see. Just on this shorter time frame, it looks like it's probably going down here to this gap fill at 48 bucks. So I'd be looking for, you can pretty much see it right here, probably the same as the market. Get a bounce soon, and then another move down here to 47 bucks. And that's an ABC structure from what I can see. So it's probably going to, at the minimum, you get a bounce after that. So you'd get at least this and then more downside, or you're going to get, just like I talked about in NVDA, you're going to get a new high like that. So that is shop short term. Look for a gap fill at 48 bucks. Let's look at the dollar. Oh, I didn't go over Apple. I'll go over Apple real quick. So Apple is kind of interesting because it's been holding up pretty well at this area. It did drop a bunch, and then it's holding up now. And I consider this a 5-wave move. You can see pretty clearly that's a 5-wave move. So this drop right here is probably wave A. And I think that we are potentially in a wave B. So this looks like A right here. And then this looks like it's getting ready to fall. I can see this going down to like 172. Maybe it holds a low here. And then I could see us getting a move like this. Well, actually, that's not right. It'd be like this. A, B, and then getting a move like that. And then this being... There's so many different possibilities, but get something like this, fill the gap, and then this turns into being an even bigger, like, expanded flat up here, and then we fall after that. Or, you know, there's a possibility that Apple topped out too. It was always kind of a weird structure. I think it's a wave 4, but it's dropped so much that even when it comes down here, just based on where it's at so far, that's not going to cross into wave 1, but it's getting really close. And so it's possible that it's either topped out, and this is a very long ABC structure, or, and if it did top out, I guess, then it could potentially just end up being wave 1 right here. And we're just getting some kind of crazy wave 2. And then we get a move like this later later in the year. I think it's probably going to go to new highs. This is possible, but it's kind of a weird structure, really. It can go so many different ways. Short term, just look for a little bit more downside to probably like 172, and then I'm looking for a bounce. We're finally going to get a bounce, in my opinion. And that's probably going to end up being the overall B wave, because this is corrective. This would be corrective. We'd get an impulse move higher. So then you're looking at impulse, overall corrective, should get another impulse down. So it should be like that. There's a possibility this is actually a B wave, but it looks like a wave. So that's why it's kind of confusing. So anyway, that might have been kind of confusing on Apple, but basically look for 172 and then a bounce after that. DXY is still holding steady, and again, A, B. So where would you look for this to end? Just based on this structure, you're looking at the 0.78 fib. We already broke that. Next would be the 0.1, the 100% retracement. And then you have the 1.23, and then you also have the 1.61 as far as it can go. So right now, just based on what I see, I would say we are close to topping, or we're probably going to go to like the 1.23 fib. If it goes all the way up here to 109, let me just see if that would make any sense for where I think it's going. I would say my target is probably the 1.23 fib here at 107.28. That would complete the overall B wave, and then we get the C wave down here to 93 bucks. So as you can see, the dollar is projecting a huge move up whenever this tops out. Whenever this tops out, we're going to get a C wave down here, and that should be parabolic for growth stocks, for tech, for everything. So you just got to wait out the next couple of months and protect your portfolio. In case I'm wrong, you never know. If this doesn't work out and it ends up just keep on going down, you can't hope that it's going to play out exactly as you want. You gotta follow the market day by day, obviously, but I think this is probably going to happen. So we're probably going to hit the low 90s sometime in 2024, and they might even stretch this out all the way to the election. So we might have another year of a move up. I don't think so. Maybe it will go into like May, and then it will slightly drop into the election, and then I'm expecting a big drop after that. Let's go over SPY real quick. I know this video is getting very long, but let's just go over SPY. So SPY in the same area as QQQ, just based on where it's at. I didn't go in depth on this one like I did on QQQ, but I would imagine it's the exact same count. This is probably going to be, it's a little bit different. Is this still like 5 waves here or not? Okay, yeah, 5 waves. No, it's the same. So just based on what I showed you on QQQ, this is probably wave 1, wave 2. So on SPY, I would be looking for 428. Bounce to 429, and then we're looking for a move that can take us all the way down to potentially 426 next week. So that's another 1% down. And then I would look for a bounce after that. So that's going to be wave 3. 1, 2, 426. And I would look for a bounce to 431.60. And then just based on the first wave, oh, look at that. Gap fill. 421 gap fill. So I'm looking for 420 on SPY. Zoom out. And you know what? That just shows me, I mean, SPY is a little bit more clear. There's no way that we're going to bounce and go lower after that. This is the end. So on QQQ as well, I don't think it's going to go to 332. I think it's going to go to 347. I guess I can't say that for sure, but just based on SPY, 332 is another 8% lower, maybe 9% lower. And if SPY goes to 420, that is 2.5% lower. 2.5% lower on QQQ is 347. So the chances of this going to 332 are very low. On SPY, 420. So 347, 420 basically is what I see. 420 is going to hit probably sometime in late October. So you're going to get this move down here probably within the next week, and then we're probably going to bounce for like 10 days. So this bounce will take a while, and then we're going to get a move down into late October. And then again, invalidation for wave 4 was down here at 415. So now you're looking at it like this. Like that. And then again, that can be wave 3, pull back and go higher than that, or that can be ABC and we fall off a cliff. All right, this video is getting kind of long. Let me know what you think in the comments. I missed another one too. I had a request for SMH. Let's see here. I haven't looked at this, so this is going to be analysis based on what I see right now. It's at 141. Okay, let's just do, I'm just going to do this wave right here, not the overall move. So this wave right here, okay, that's definitely 5 waves. And so this is definitely A or 1. This is B or 2. And then we get 5 waves. So you can see right here at 130 there is a gap fill. That's pretty obvious. So gap fill here at 130. And where's the 1.61 fib? That's the question. The 1.61 fib is right around there. So I would say it's probably going to come down here to 132. With the shortest, the place it can go, the least amount, the least it can go is 139.88. But let's just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's got one more move down. Similar to, actually similar to NVDA. It's pretty much on the same path as NVDA. And that would make sense, obviously, semiconductor. So I would probably just, NVIDIA and this are probably tracking the same. So you're looking at one more move down, bounce, and then lower. So you're looking at, I'll just show you the whole wave. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to get a 5th wave down here, probably below the low, 138, 139 maybe. And then that is going to be, It's tougher to do this on the spot. Because, these videos, when I do these stocks, I do them, it takes me like 30 minutes to an hour just to look at the whole chart. So, right now, just based on this wave, I don't think that this is going to end up being a 3rd wave. So, it's got to be ABC. So, I think the max is 132. I would say that you're probably looking for anywhere between 139 and 132, but there is a gap fill down here at 130. So right now, I'll leave it at that. I mean, let's look at parallel lines and just see real quick. And look at that. You're probably looking down here at 139 short term, and then you're probably going to get a nice bounce, and then maybe a little bit lower, but 139 should be the short term bottom. Alright, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do that. Hit that like button for more updates. This is a very pivotal time in the market. Over the next month, we should see more downside, obviously, as I showed in the video. But then you should be looking for dip buying opportunities, because into the 2024, we should start seeing more parabolic moves to the upside. So that's it. Have a good rest of the weekend. I'll talk to you soon.